figure out a way to build effectively for me. And I think this is very clear from like the very first thing I did in the business. Please excuse me while I drink my essential oil water. I think this is very clear from like the very first thing I did in the business. So when I started to build with doTERRA, I reached out to my upline, and this was probably about 2 weeks or so after I got laid off, and I reached out to my mentor, and I was like, all right, I'm actually serious. How do I do this? How do I build? And she's like, okay, go find the daily mentor calls, start them, reach out to me when you get to this number. And I started to do them. She started to assign homework. It was a lot. And I was like, I really, really want to start an Instagram. And I told that to my upline, and she's like, okay. And I was like, no, I really want to. And I just was listening to the daily mentor calls, and as of what I've heard so far, there's nothing on the daily mentor calls. It's like, all right, now you start Facebook, or an Instagram or whatever. You start a YouTube. There's nothing on that about that, because that's a different way of building, and that is not going to be something that everyone's going to want to do. So it's something that's calling to me. And so I actually stopped with the daily mentor calls. I think I stopped at like daily mentor call like 7, and it might have been higher than that. And I started my Instagram page and my Facebook page, and I have gotten some really, really positive things from that. And I am so sorry, my nose is so itchy. Some really, really positive people from that reaching out to me and asking about the business, and not necessarily the business, but oils. And I think that looking at what they're offering and then figuring out what is good for you and what's best for you and what plays on your strengths can really, really help you build the business the right way for you. So that's what I'm trying to see, is like, what is the right way to build the business for me? So I think if you're looking at, where do you start building? I would say start with the daily mentor calls and go from there, and start with oil games and go from there. My friend and I were talking today, and she's like, I don't know if I'm going to keep going with oil games because it just doesn't feel right. And the wonderful thing about building this business is it's your business. So you build it the way that feels right to build it. If you're learning things from people who are professionals at this, but it isn't working to how you build, then figure out how you build and what feels right for you, and then go from there. These people are successful, so there's definitely things to learn from them, but maybe it's not the right way of doing things for you. Maybe you're an introvert, so calling 2 to 4 people a day is really, really hard for you. So what isn't hard for you? What is something that works towards you and helps you build? And I think that that's, something like, as of right now, I'm really struggling to reach out to people, because how do I reach out to someone I haven't talked to in 4 years and be like, oh my God, I've missed you. Hey, I have an oil. Like, that's one of the things that really kept me from doing this when I started, is just like, I would rather people know that I'm doing it and then be like, hey, you were doing that oil thing, right? Yeah, I am. Let me help you. So yeah. So, that's kind of where I'm at, like, thinking wise, with the business and trying to catch up and all of that. And then, what I've done from there is I broke down what I need to do and what I need to learn. So you've already seen my list of what I need to do. and all of that. So I'm just going to start listing some of them off to you, because some of them are like overall goals that aren't just like, hey, I need to do this and do that. The first thing I need to do, and that I'm going to try to work on today, is social media. So I can do a whole thing on social media. It'll probably become a series on here if I ever get good at it. But I haven't posted anything on social media on my Instagram or Facebook pages since June 3rd, I think. Just because of everything that's going on in the country, I don't know what to post. And I didn't want to be posting about my oils. Like, there wasn't huge things going on in our world, and there is so much going on right now that it's just like, I, especially at the beginning of the month, didn't feel like I had the right to be posting about this when there are so many people that need to be heard about how this world is treating them. And so I haven't posted anything, but I need to, and I think that I'm going to do that today. I just need to say how, I don't even know. I just need to say how I feel, and put a post out there. I had a really good quote from Oprah Winfrey. I don't know what I did with it, but it was talking about people and just love, and that's kind of where I'm coming from. I mean, it's absolutely where I'm coming from. All I want to do with this business is help people, and like, what's going on in the world right now is heartbreaking, and I just want to hug people and be like, you know, this needs to happen, because it's helping communities that feel like they've been disenfranchised and pushed out on. Yeah. Anyways, so I feel like I need to say something so I can push through that barrier, and I don't want to ignore it. And I don't want to just do like one post and like, let me go back to talking about my oils. I definitely want to put some love out there and go from there. So social media is one thing that I need to work on. I need to reach out to my upline. There's some assignments for oil games that it's asked you to reach out to your upline. And then there's also continuing education for Premier Push that is trying to get you to reach out to your upline and get involved in continuing education. So that brings me to my next one. So getting involved into continuing education and plugging the people underneath me into continuing education. So I need to kind of work backwards and work on that and getting people into continuing education. And then from there, I also need to work on putting together more effective ways of tracking. So I have people that I've already sampled, but I don't have that all written down in one place. And then I have people that I've talked to but haven't sampled. And so I need to put together like a sampling spreadsheet, I think. I'm not really a spreadsheet person, but I totally see the value in it, especially having a degree in business. So I need to look at trying to put together something where I can track who I've talked to, who I've given samples to, what I've given them, when the last time I talked to them was, if I've invited them to a class, if they showed up, and maybe just like have a couple of different tabs of talking to, sampled, followed up, and just if they've, and once I enroll them, I can delete them off of that or put them into an archive. So if they come back to me and be like, hey, what was this that you made up for me at one point? I can have that written down. Like, oh yeah, I made you a blend to help you with this. And this is how it worked. And just like being able to track what they told me. So, because as of right now, I think I've probably personally, I've sampled over like 20 people. And so being able to know what I've given them is so like hard to do, especially at the very beginning. I wasn't writing it down. At one point, someone asked me for a sample and I just put it together. I don't even think I wrote it down, so I don't know what I gave them. So if they came back to me, it was like, oh my gosh, like this one was really awesome for helping me sleep. What did you give me? And I'm like, I don't actually know, because I made her a blend. But anyways, I want to work on figuring out an effective way to be able to track sampling. And I also want to better do my names list. I want to write my names list into a spreadsheet, and I want a better way to do that. So that way I can, better track that and highlight it if I've talked to them or reached out, and then they can go into the samplings list. Maybe I just do one big spreadsheet, but we'll see. Okay, and then I want to talk about, the last thing I haven't talked about is my strengths. So this is a video all on its own, and I don't know much about it, but it is something that they talk about quite a bit in doTERRA. It's something I talked about last night, and it's something I want to work on in what I need to do. So that's why it's in my what I need to do list. And then there's things I need to learn. I think that it's very clear right now, 45 minutes into this video, that I'm not an expert. I don't know exactly what I'm doing. I have vision and I have dream, but I don't have any idea how to do it. And there's people that are out there who are offering advice, but not all advice fits you, and there's only one way I can build this vision or this, business and this vision. It's my way, and I need to figure out what my way is. So things that I need to learn. How to build this business right for me. There's definitely a way for me to do this right, and there's definitely a million ways for me to do this wrong. And I think just moving forward and keep going and not letting obstacles get in my way. And even if I feel like if I've done something wrong, just learning from it is going to help me. And it's one of the reasons I'm doing these. Honestly, even if I'm filming it this way on my phone instead of vertically, sorry. Even if I'm doing it wrong, I'm still doing it. So that's got to be a positive thing, right? And then I need to figure out how I personally define success. I think it will help me and help what I'm trying to build if I know what my vision of success is. So I've told you what my goals are, but I think I need to figure out what I want to do at the end of this. At what point am I going to be successful? Is it when I quit my job? Is it when I do this full time? Is it when I can pay off all of my debt? When I can help my parents purchase their house, pay off their mortgage, and car payments? And what is my definition of success? Is it being able to start my own nonprofit? How do I know that I'm successful? I think I need to figure that out, because that will help me figure out how I want to build this business. And I know that my idea of success is going to change the more successful I become, because right now it's to be able to hit a rank without overspending. I'd love to be able to just do my $125 a month so I get my free product, and be able to go from there. But I'm not at that point. So what is my definition of success? And we'll see. It's going to change and grow, but that's one of the things I need to learn. The next thing I need to learn is how to find and cultivate builders, because the only way for my team to grow and for me to be successful is if I help others be successful. So how do I find those people who are ready to be successful? And how can I help them be successful? As I said, I currently have some people on my team who have showed interest, but how do I help them in reaching their goals? And what can I do to help them? So continuing education is the first start. But at what can I help offer them? And so I need to learn that. And I think that is something that I'm going to learn through trial and error and just helping them. I'm going from there. And then the next thing I need to learn is just balancing, being able to balance and juggle this all. I don't want to become one of those people where it's always about my business. I want to be able to turn off my phone and be able to balance the difference between when I'm working and when I'm not working. And that's going to be really hard at the beginning of this, but knowing when it's time to work and knowing when it's time to turn off my phone is going to be the best thing. Right now, if someone texts me when they're interested, I'm there. And I think that's great because I'm, trying to build, but I also need to know, like, hey, Amanda, it's 6:30 a.m. or it's 11:45 p.m. Because if someone's messaging me and I see it, I message them back immediately. Why? Because they're there to talk. So if I see it, I'm there. But I need to figure out how to balance all of this with my life, because I don't want doTERRA to take over and then me to get so overwhelmed and quit because it became too much. I am the person that's controlling this. I am the person who is choosing to do or not do something. So I am the only reason that I am or am not successful. I want to share something with you as my final thought. This is from my morning tea. I drink something called Yogi tea. I absolutely love them. Not sponsored. YOGI. And they put little cute messages on their tea. And this morning I had the Energy Passion tea, and then I added some citrus oils to it with honey. It's fantastic. And this is what my tea bag said this morning. It said, if you let yourself be successful, then you shall have success. I think that is the perfect way to end this video, because all of this, oil games, leadership, building, recording, all of this is about me trying to become successful and how I'm going to do that. So this is vlog number 4. My name is Mandy. Thank you so much for sticking around and listening to me just jibber jabber. And if you are a member of my team, I hope that you find inspiration from this. I hope that you can see that it's not always easy, but as long as you have the positive mindset and you keep working and moving forward, you can do this. And maybe that's how I'll end these. My name is Mandy, and I know that you can do this because I am. Maybe not successfully, but I'm doing it. All right, bye guys.